welcome to this wonderful series of prompt engineering. In this video, we're going to talk about the introduction to prompt engineering, and subsequently in other videos, we'll talk about what prompt engineering is all about, the good and bad prompts, and other things that are important and related to prompt engineering. So let's get to the business of today, which is an introduction to prompt engineering. So in this video, I'm going to try to explain how you will master the art of communication with generative AI, which is what you have as your ChatGPT, your Gemini, and all of those AI models that are out there. So in a very simple term, prompt engineering is the technical, structured approach to crafting high fidelity instructions that align model output with human intent. This sentence may look a bit complicated, but what it simply means is a way of communicating with AI. That's what prompt engineering is. So in this series, we're going to look at core frameworks like the SDA framework, which is the subject description and aesthetic layers. We're going to look at core elements of prompt engineering, and we're also going to look at something called iterative refinement. Now, what is a prompt? Before we talk about prompt engineering, a prompt is any instruction, a question, or an input you give to an AI model to get a response. So, like I said, it's just input and output, garbage in, garbage out. That's what a prompt is. Anything you put in is what you get out. So think of it as the message you send that tells the AI what you want it to do, what you want it to say, or what you want it to create. It shapes everything that the AI gives back to you. So an instruction that you give to a particular model in order for it to answer your question, in order for it to create your image, in order for it to create your video is called a prompt. So you can decide to scale the details of your prompt or your instructions from a single word to a full paragraph with context, with examples and rules. You can even decide to scale it with a document, a video, and even a picture. So a prompt is like your side of the conversation. It's essentially your half of the dialogue. If it is input and output, the AI model has half of the conversation, which is the output, and you also have half of the conversation, which is the input. So it's essentially your own half, your own side of the conversation. So that's basically, in short, what a prompt is. Now, when you combine prompt and engineering, that's when we now say what is prompt engineering. Prompt engineering is the skill of crafting and refining those instructions. Remember, a prompt is an instruction. Okay? Remember, a prompt is an instruction. The process of refining those instructions, iterating those instructions deliberately and strategically to get the best possible output from an AI is called prompt engineering. So when you sit, like, prompt engineering is a skill, you need to sit down and craft it and see how you can iterate it in order for you to get the results that you need out of an AI model. It is the technical, structured approach to crafting high fidelity instructions that align model output with human intent. Now, you need to be intentional when it comes to prompt engineering because you want to get the best out of an AI model. Okay, so it's technical, it's structured, it needs to follow a particular pattern, it needs to follow a particular framework in order for it to achieve what you want. So there is an engineering approach to prompt. Okay, just like an engineer designs systems, and a chemical engineer is posed with designing process systems. An electrical engineer is posed with designing electrical systems. A prompt engineer is to design the inputs that will guide the AI with precision and accuracy for it to give you a desired result. Okay, now you need to craft your prompt with precision, choosing the right words, the structure, the tone, the context in order for you to get an accurate, a useful, and a consistent result. If your results can be accurate but not useful, it can be consistent but not useful. So, all of these things need to be in place in order for your result to be useful. That's why you need to craft high fidelity prompts. Now, you can see that this particular slide is on red, and that's because it signifies bad. So let's talk a bit about bad and good prompts, and then in the next series, we'll look at key frameworks when it comes to prompt engineering. Now, what is a bad prompt? A bad prompt is vague, okay? It's like empty, is incomplete, or lacking context. It gives the AI little to work with, so the response ends up generic, off target, or unhelpful. So think of it you just go to Gemini right now and ask what is photosynthesis. Photosynthesis. It's just going to state a general answer and give to you, and probably that may not be what you want. So instead of just going and say define photosynthesis, you can go and ask it to define photosynthesis for a university student, for a secondary school student, for a college student, or for a primary school student. Tell it to explain photosynthesis to a 2-year-old person. Okay, now you have given it context, you have given it what to work with. So therefore, it doesn't give you generic answers anymore. It gives you specific answer for your particular question or for your particular problem. Now, bad prompts usually assume the AI already knows what you mean, who you are, or what you're trying to achieve. We all understand that AI models are trained on vast amounts of data, millions and billions, if not trillions of data. So, in fact, AI models have reached a PhD level when it comes to the data they can interpret. But this does not mean that they already know who you are, what you're trying to achieve. They are not in your head. So you need to try to bring out what is in your head and tell it to the AI in order for it to understand you and give you back your desired output. Now, there's a trap. There's what I call the vague trap. And then it says that generic input leads to generic output. When you go and say, what is photosynthesis? It just gives you what it would give every other person. But you need to be precise, okay? Precision is sacrifice for brevity when it has to do with the vague trap. It's kind of like empty, it's void, it's emptiness. Okay, and now there's also a context gap, there's a context vacuum. Without background, the AI must guess your intent. Like I said, AI is trained on vast and billions and trillions amounts of data. Okay, so without context, it's just going to, because I have a lot of, imagine having a lot of data on a particular concept, I'm just going to bring a lot of things together and give to you because that's what I feel like you want. So without background, the AI must guess your intent, often resulting in off-target answers which you may not be comfortable with. Now let's look at what a good prompt. Okay, let's look at the examples of bad prompts, and then we'll stop here for this particular series, and then we'll continue with good prompts and some key frameworks in the next video. Now, examples of bad prompts. Okay, so these are like real world examples of low fidelity inputs. And like I said, this thing is like garbage in, garbage out. If you give in low fidelity inputs, you will get out of the AI model low fidelity output. Now, imagine going to ChatGPT and saying, explain AI. Okay, that's too broad. When you say explain AI, to who? How many word counts do you want? Okay, now that's too broad. So, how do you want it to explain it? To who? Are you a developer? Are you a 10-year-old person? Are you a business person? How does this AI try to help you if it doesn't know who you are? Now, you want it to explain it as Like how? Is it for a 10-year-old, a developer? You want it in 2 lines, you want it in 10 pages, you want to make a research on AI? So if you give it a low fidelity, you get a low fidelity. If you give it a low fidelity input, you get a low fidelity output as well. Now, maybe the AI explained AI. The AI model, you ask it to explain AI, and then because the context is too vague, and you're now trying to say, make it better. How do you want it to make it better? Do you want it to be shorter? Do you want it to be longer? Do you want it to be more formal? Do you want it to be more persuasive? Like, how do you want it? You need to be precise. You need to know what you want in order for you to get the best out of an AI model. Now, you now say, write something about my business. What business? What line of business are you in? What's the goal of the business? Who is going to be reading this thing you're writing about the business? So you can see that these are some of the things that we continue to do day to day, and we don't get the best out of any AI model we're using. So that's like we're jumping from Claude to ChatGPT to Gemini to all of the AI models that are around, and you're like, this one is not working for me, this one is working, and stuff like that. And something else that we really do, and you like, give me ideas for what, in what industry, what have you already tried? So you need to give this AI model a platform where it tests you. Okay, don't worry, when we look into good prompts, you see how you apply good prompts to get the best out of an AI model. So you can, the last one here is like, help me. This tells the AI absolutely nothing. So this is like way, way, way out of context. Help me do what? What do you want to achieve? Okay, all of these things combined together make a bad prompt or make bad prompts. So in the next series, in the next video, I'm going to talk about good prompts and some quality key frameworks in prompt engineering. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, to comment, to subscribe to this channel. Also, my one-on-one AI training has started. If you want to join, my contact details would be pinned in the comment section of this video. Reach out to me and let's have a one-on-one AI training with your team or with you as an individual. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye.